I was squatting by the roadside telling people's fortunes when my billionaire parents found me. They had no idea I was a fortune teller and just stared at me blankly. It was Zhuang Qingqing who snickered first. Her eyes were full of disdain, but I only glanced at her, and then spoke up. No charge if it's not accurate. Want to get a fortune reading? Madame Zhuang immediately burst into tears. Baby, I'm your mom. Come home with me. I looked at the people in front of me. A few words popped up in my head. Shrouded in dark key. Dying soon, I sighed, and nodded in agreement. I packed up my compass and Joss paper. I need to go home and pack some stuff. It's a mess inside. Wait for me outside, you guys. Madame Zhuang insisted on coming with me. The rest of them had no choice but to follow. The four of them followed me into the dirty alley. Every now and then a few rats ran past. I heard retching sounds from behind. How can anyone live in a place like this? Works for me. I've lived here for over 10 years. Zhuang Qingqing's face kept twisting with displeasure. I ignored her and kept walking forward until I reached a small door. I pushed the door open. The furnishings inside were very simple. A table, an old-fashioned electric fan. I took my clothes out of the closet. Zhuang Qingqing pinched her nose in disgust. Why do you even want these raggedy clothes? We'll buy you all new ones when we get home. I was just about to speak when a whole bunch of people suddenly burst into the room and surrounded the Zhuang family completely. You have to treat Bai Fan well. This kid has been through a lot. You guys look super rich. Why did it take you so many years to come get Bai Fan? I heard you have an adopted son at home. Who knows how he'll treat Bai Fan? Ever since I was little, I was raised by the neighbors and my master. Now that I'm leaving, they're happy for me, but also reluctant to let me go. Aunt Wang started shoving things into my arms. These are the clothes we bought for you. Don't wear those old ones anymore. You gotta wear new clothes when you move to a new home. Soon my arms were full of all kinds of bags. The uncles and aunts helped carry all my luggage to the car. I hugged my little yellow bag and sat in the back seat. You're not actually gonna bring these unlucky stuff back home with you, right? We have no space for your stuff at home. Madame Zhuang slapped her hard. How dare you talk to your brother like that? I looked up at them. Then I won't go back. Zhuang Qingqing froze for a second. She obviously didn't expect me to say that. She opened her mouth but said nothing. It was her older sister Zhuang Qingya who spoke up. Apologize, Zhuang Qingqing. Zhuang Qingqing mumbled an apology reluctantly. Madame Zhuang started asking how I've been living, saying I've suffered so much outside all these years. The term birth parents feels really strange to me, since I don't even have foster parents. When I was almost about to have my arm broken by human traffickers, my master rammed into those people and snatched me away from them. I looked at the sobbing Zhuang Sunzi. Is he also a child of the Zhuang family? You just got home, and you're already trying to kick Brother Sunzi out. Even if you're back now, we're not going to send Zhuang Sunzi away. Zhuang Sunzi has lived with us for so many years after all. We have feelings for him. We'll treat you as family too. We hope you won't target Zhuang Sunzi. I'm sorry, brother. I don't know how all this happened either. If you don't want to see me, I can move out. I scanned each of their faces one by one. I don't think I said anything, did I? I only asked if he's a child of the Zhuang family. Only then did they realize they overreacted. Madame Zhuang quickly stepped in to smooth things over. Zhuang Sunzi is the child we got mixed up with you back then. Lu Fan, you'll be the older brother from now on. Zhuang Sunzi is your younger brother. I nodded and said nothing more. Zhuang Sunzi's sobbing was getting on my nerves. I just closed my eyes to rest. After a bumpy ride, we arrived at the Zhuang residence. No one helped me carry my luggage when we got off. The group walked into the house before they realized they'd left me behind. Madame Zhuang ran back out again. We looked at each other. I walked past her and went straight inside. When they saw me come in on my own, their expressions turned awkward. Zhuang Qingya snapped at the maids. The young master just got back. Why didn't anyone help him with his luggage? I watched him shift the blame right in front of me. No need. I can carry it myself. B-Fan, your room isn't ready yet. You'll have to make do with the first floor for now. Do all three of them live on the second floor? You just got back, and you're already eyeing a spot on the second floor. The fake Zhuang grandson hurried to pull him back. Brother, Qingqing doesn't know any better. If you want it, I can give you my room on the second floor. No thanks, I don't want to live where you stayed, it's bad luck. With that, I ignored their reactions and went straight to my room. The housekeeper called me out for dinner in the evening. They were already seated at the dining table. They even saved the seat right next to the fake Zhuang grandson for me. The fake Zhuang grandson called me brother respectfully. I stared at him. It was his mom who swapped him and me at birth. If it weren't for my Shifu, I would have died a long time ago. With all these emotions surging up, there's no way I could smile at him. The fake Zhuang grandson stared awkwardly at the bowl in front of him. His eyes quietly turned red. Zhuang Qingya looked at me. Yifan, he's calling you. I heard him. I just don't feel like responding. Where are your manners? All these years. Is that what your Shifu and those people taught you? You can badmouth me all you want, but you make me sit at the same table as a thief. And you dare ask me about my manners. The fake Zhuang grandson heard what I said. His tears dropped right into his rice. Zhuang Qingqing saw her brother crying. She couldn't hold it back anymore. What's with that attitude? Lu Fan knew you were coming back. He even bought you a bunch of gifts. You weren't the one who got swapped. You weren't the one thrown in the trash. That wasn't you either. Of course you wouldn't understand how cold it is to wear only a thin shirt in the dead of winter. I was homeless, wandering the streets. Some people even tried to break my arm, to make me beg with a broken limb. I rolled up my sleeve. There were several obvious scars on my arm. The spoon that dropped into the bowl earlier fell because of the old injury on my arm. Zhuang Qingya's face changed slightly. She never ended up saying the apology she wanted to. Mrs. Zhuang was shocked. She had no idea I lived such a hard life outside. Mr. Zhuang could barely hold back his grief. Yifan, Qingya will take you for a checkup tomorrow. No need. Shifu already got my arm checked out. It can move, that's all. It's useless for anything else. So I'm sorry, sister. When I was little, I only cared about getting enough food to survive. No one taught me any manners. People only taught me how to stay alive. I'm the one who doesn't deserve to eat at the same table as all of you. I'm full. You guys keep eating. It's sister's fault I misjudged you. What if I say it's either him or me in this house? If he stays, I leave. Zhuang Qingqing obviously wanted to argue back. But then she remembered the scars on my arm. She forced herself to shut up. Mrs. Zhuang couldn't say a word either. Mr. Zhuang said seriously, after all, we've raised him for over 10 years. If we send the adopted son away, right after we find our biological son, what will other people think of the Zhuang family? What if you have to choose one of us? With that, I turned around and left. I woke up hungry the next day. I never thought on my first day here. I wouldn't even get a full meal. I put on the new clothes Aunt Wang bought me. It has a little kitten printed on it. The whole family was already up when I came out. Zhuang Qingqing's shocked gaze stayed on me the second I walked out and never left my clothes. She was holding back a laugh. What are you even wearing? It's new, no patches. No one's worn it before, what's wrong with it? Zhuang Qingqing stopped laughing immediately. She thought about what I'd been through. She awkwardly picked up her phone. After dinner, Mrs. Zhuang gave me 100,000 yuan. Told me to go buy some new clothes. I don't know if it was because of what just happened. Zhuang Qingqing offered to take me shopping. The fake Zhuang grandson froze for a second. Qingqing, weren't you supposed to pick up the custom jewelry with me today? Zhuang Qingqing let out a surprised, huh? Her eyes flicked between me and him twice. She ended up walking to my side. Sorry, bro. Lu Fan just got here. He doesn't have any friends yet. Go with your friends instead, okay? Zhuang Qingqing went to the garage to get the car, leaving only me and the fake Zhuang grandson standing at the door. He was wearing a watch. The watch glinted brightly in the light. Hey bro, you want to go buy one too? Forget it, some people are just born not fit for the rich life. Right, bro? Bro. I just stared at him. Didn't say a word. He got freaked out by my stare. Muttered what bad luck. Then he left. Zhuang Qingqing drove over and saw me still standing there. She seemed to think of something out of the blue. She actually got out of the car and opened the door for me on her own. I got in the car. I lifted my right hand. I still have one working hand, you know? Who cares about that? I'm scared you'll scratch my car. The mall was huge. At least in all these years, I'd never seen a place this big. I stood by the entrance and stared a little longer. Zhuang Qingqing pushed me like she was disgusted. Stop staring, let's go. She left for a while halfway through. Left me alone in the store. I picked out a few cheap clothes and went to pay. Then I went to the store next door and bought several plus-size men's and women's clothes. I planned to give them to Aunt Wang and the others. I thought for a second. I decided to use the rest of my money to buy the Zhuang family, one item for each person. I waited at the mall entrance until 2 o'clock. Zhuang Qingqing still hadn't come back. I went to the nearby convenience store and bought a 3 yuan bread to fill my stomach. I waited until 5 p.m. Finally, a call came in. I took a look. It was an unknown number. I picked up anyway. It was Mother Zhuang. Li Fun? My son hurt his leg. He's at the hospital. You take a taxi home yourself first. I just said, Then I hung up. The money left in my phone wasn't enough for a ride to the Zhuang residence. I had to ask the driver to pull over by the roadside. Then I walked the rest of the way home. I was starving and thirsty. Everyone was already there when I got home. Even Father Zhuang, who's usually busy with work, was home. Zhuang Sunzi saw me come in, gave me an awkward smile. Sorry about that, bro. It's my fault Qing didn't come pick you up. I told my parents they didn't need to come, but they insisted. Luckily, it's just a sprained ankle. Otherwise, Mom and Dad would be so worried. You must be tired after wandering all day, bro. Come sit down and have some grapes. The auntie took the things from my hand, gasped in surprise. Oh my, these are for Mr. and Mrs. Zhuang, right? And for the young master and young miss, too. None of the people there expected this. Mother Zhuang walked over. She took the shopping bag and took out the items one by one. Zhuang Sunzi's face darkened. Then he forced a smile. I guess there's nothing for me, right? It's okay, it makes sense that bro doesn't like me. Mother Zhuang took out all the items. There were 5 in total. Not more, not less. Zhuang Sunzi's smile froze on his face. Mother Zhuang seemed to think of something and asked, Lu Fan, how did you get back? The cooking auntie pointed at my foot. Young master's foot is bleeding. I looked down. My shoe was soaked with blood. Zhuang Qingqing immediately stood up to get the first aid kit. Zhuang Qingya helped me sit down. She carefully took off my shoe, but the sock was already stuck to my bleeding skin. She didn't know what to do. I didn't look at her. I just ripped the sock off my skin on my own. Zhuang Qingya frowned at the sight. Mother Zhuang let out a gasp and covered her mouth. Blood dripped down drop by drop. Soon, a small pool of blood formed on the floor. I grabbed the iodophor and poured it directly on the wound. Then I wrapped the bandage around it a few times, roughly. Since my left hand isn't very flexible, the bandage ended up all messy. Mother Zhuang couldn't bear to watch anymore. Hurry up and get a doctor for B-Fan. Stop wrapping it, wait for the doctor. I finished wrapping it anyway. Didn't look at any of them. Just said no need, I'm tired. Then I went back to my room. I was woken up by a knock on the door. I could faintly hear voices outside. What if he fainted inside? Hurry up and kick the door open. I recognized it was Mother Zhuang's voice. I limped over to open the door. Mother Zhuang was standing outside, followed by a person in a white coat. Lu Fan, get up and eat something, then let the doctor check your foot injury. The atmosphere in the living room was a bit tense. The argument was still going on when I arrived. Zhuang Sunzi's eyes were all red. Zhuang's father gave Zhuang Sunzi a good scolding. For once, Zhuang Qingqing didn't stand up for her brother. When she saw me come out, she stood up in a hurry, but didn't know what to say. Are you okay? I didn't answer her, and asked the doctor to bandage my foot injury. After dinner, Zhuang Qingqing kept following me around and would shove fruit into my hand. I just finished my 4th banana when another peeled banana was handed to me from the side. I glanced at Zhuang Qingqing. You eat it yourself. Zhuang Qingqing still stuffed the banana into my hand. I'm sorry about today. I didn't mean to leave you behind at the mall. I originally went to the hospital to buy medicine. Sunzi suddenly called me and said he was hurt, but wouldn't tell me how bad the injury was no matter what I asked. I didn't find out it was just a sprained ankle until I got to the hospital. Sunzi insisted that I stay to take care of him. I couldn't just leave him alone at the hospital. After she finished speaking, she seemed to be waiting for my reaction. I won't forgive you. But I don't blame you either. After I said that, her head kept drooping lower and lower. That phone call. You asked Aunt Zhuang to call me, right? She hesitated and nodded. The only person who asked me for my phone number at home was her. A few days later, my foot was fully healed. Zhuang's mother transferred money to me again, saying she would personally accompany me to go shopping. I shook my head. Just let Zhuang Qingqing come with me. Zhuang Qingqing jumped up from the sofa all of a sudden. I'll go with brother. Right after she said that, she ran straight to the garage, ignoring Zhuang Sunzi's livid face. Zhuang Qingya also spoke up. Then I'll go with Qingqing to accompany you. She's too young and not reliable enough. Then who's going with me to my follow-up appointment today? My foot is still injured. Only then did Zhuang's mother notice her other son. Sunzi, Mom will go with you, okay? I don't want that. I want my sisters to go with me. Right after he said that, he noticed Zhuang's mother's face had already turned dark. Zhuang Qingya's expression didn't look good either. I think your foot is already fine. No need for a follow-up appointment. If you really have to go, let the driver go with you. Zhuang Sunzi was so angry that he teared up, but no one bothered to coax him this time. I turned down Zhuang's mother and Zhuang Qingya, and only let Zhuang Qingqing accompany me. In the car, Zhuang Qingqing was humming happily. Just when we stopped at a red light, she took something out of her pocket and handed it to me. Here you go, brother. This is scar removal cream. I went to the hospital specially to get it that day. It's made by a specialist. It's a private formula, super expensive. Do you have any money? Yeah, of course. If you're short on cash, you can ask the family for it. I don't have much on me, what's wrong? Did something happen? Nothing, how much money do you have? Can you lend me 200,000 won? Zhuang Qingqing froze for a moment, then took out her phone, ready to transfer the money without hesitation. I stopped her, rubbed the text on the cream tube and asked, Zhuang Qingqing, when did you get your driver's license? This March? Are you going mountain climbing with your friends this Saturday? Huh. How did you know that? I haven't even told the family yet. Don't go. Why? I already made plans with everyone. I also know there are 4 of you going. Just don't go. Huh. Fine. This time she agreed very reluctantly. I bought her a bracelet, and that cheered her up again. When we got home, she cheerfully helped me sort out the things we bought. Zhuang Sunzi walked over carrying a plate of cut apples. Qingqing, you must be tired. Come on. Have some fruit? Zhuang Qingqing poked a piece with a toothpick and stuffed it in her mouth, then poked another piece for me. Thanks, Sunzi bro. But Zhuang Sunzi just stood there and didn't leave. I saw his left index finger was wrapped in a band-aid and immediately figured out what he was up to. But Zhuang Qingqing never noticed. He put down the fruit plate and glared at me fiercely. I ignored him and kept eating the apple in my hand. Only then did Zhuang Sunzi notice that Zhuang Qingqing had a cheap new bracelet on her wrist. He pretended to be confused and said, Where did you buy this cheap stuff? You're just wearing it on your hand like that. Aren't you afraid it's dirty? This bracelet was indeed really cheap. When I bought it for Zhuang Qingqing, I didn't tell her how much it cost, and she didn't ask either. She just put it on her wrist right away without disliking it at all. Right next to that expensive watch, Zhuang Sunzi grabbed her hand. Be careful not to scratch the watch I gave you. He tried to take off the bracelet as he finished speaking. Zhuang Qingqing pulled him away in a hurry. Brother Bifan bought this for me. It's definitely not cheap stuff. Oh right, it's really not expensive. Only a few $100. I'll wear it even if it's only a few $100. Don't worry, Brother Suzy. Brother Bifan would never hurt me. Zhuang Sunzi stared at me angrily. His eyes looked like he was complaining that I stole his sister. But she's my sister to begin with. Zhuang Sunzi brought this up during dinner. About Zhuang Qingqing going hiking this Saturday. Sis Qingqing, can I come along too? You've got 4 people already, 1 more won't be a problem. I know what Zhuang Sunzi is up to. He saw I'm getting too close to Zhuang Qingqing and wants to butt in. Then take Bifan with you too. Zhuang Sunzi frowned a little, then went back to normal right away. But the car only fits 5 people max. There won't be room if we bring Brother Bifan. No need, I'm not going. Zhuang Qingqing isn't going either. Yeah, I've got other plans this Saturday. I'm not going hiking. Brother Sunzi, if you want to go, I'll let them know. Zhuang Sunzi let out a confused, huh? He looked at me, forcing a faint smile. Why aren't you going? You planned this last week, didn't you? I just don't feel like going, that's all. Don't tell me Brother Bifan used his weird tricks to tell you some good or bad fortune, right? Father Zhuang slammed his chopsticks on the dining table with a loud clack. Is that true, Bifan? Bifan, don't ever mention this stuff at home again. None of us believe in this crap. Qingqing, go hiking if you want to this Saturday. Don't believe in those silly fortune-telling nonsense. Okay, but you're misunderstanding Brother Bifan. He didn't do any fortune-telling. I actually did. If Zhuang Qingqing goes out this Saturday, something really bad involving injury will happen to her. Get out of this house if you mention this crap again. Zhuang Sunzi moved close to Mother Zhuang, but kept his eyes on me. His eyes were full of triumphant smugness. In this tense atmosphere, I spoke calmly without any emotion. Is this about the 5-year-old sister that passed away? Father Zhuang's face turned pale with rage. He threw a plate straight at me. You already know about this. How dare you do that stupid fortune-telling for Qingqing? It's people like you that killed Linlin. Bifan, can you throw those things away, please? Zhuang Qingye gave me a look, telling me to go inside and throw those things away right now. I didn't move, and Zhuang Sunzi got furious. You know exactly what this stuff did to our family. How dare you pull these cheap tricks and trick Qingqing? Wait a second. I never told Brother Bifan about any of this. They didn't say anything, so they just assumed that Zhuang Qingqing told me all this. I kept talking. About a month before the little sister died, Zhuang Sunzi had a really bad fever, right? The hospital couldn't cure it. That's why you invited a Taoist priest to come, but not long after the priest left. The little sister also died of a high fever. Zhuang Sunzi's face changed drastically. Mother Zhuang's eyes widened in shock. It's true that the Zhuang family had a little daughter who died many years ago. Most people know that, but the details of what happened, they never told anyone, except for family members. Bifan, how do you know all this? That's all I can tell you. As for Zhuang Qingqing, she can go hiking if she wants, I don't care. The dinner ended on a really bad note. Father Zhuang thought everything I said was either told to me by someone else or just a bunch of guesses, but he couldn't lie to himself no matter who he fooled. Guessing the gist of it is one thing, but I even got the details of Zhuang Sunzi's fever and the Taoist priest visit right. That's not just luck. That can't be a guess. The whole family was disturbed by what I said these past few days. I stayed at home the whole time. Didn't go anywhere. Zhuang Qingqing kept trying to talk to me, but Zhuang Sunzi always pulled her away. He only says unlucky things. Stay away from him. Even Mother Zhuang acted like I didn't exist these days. I knew I hit a sore spot for the Zhuang family. I offered to move out for a few days. Mother Zhuang hesitated to speak. It was Zhuang Qingya who spoke up. B-fan, that's not what we meant. I know. It's just that a client asked me to help dispel bad luck earlier. It's not convenient to talk here. Father Zhuang heard me start talking again about this superstitious nonsense and snapped, "Get the hell out of my house tomorrow. Don't come back until you throw all this garbage away." I only packed a few pieces of clothing, because before long, they will beg me to come back. Before I left, Zhuang Qingqing handed me a bank card. "Brother B-fan, just apologize to Mom and Dad. They care about you a lot. Then you won't have to leave." I have never called them Mom or Dad before. That was when Zhuang Qingqing realized. Ever since I moved in these days, I haven't called them Mom and Dad even once. She tried to grab me to stop me, when Father Zhuang yelled loudly from upstairs, "Let him go, don't stop him! We'll see where is better than that brat's place." The first day I got here, I asked a question. If you had to choose only one person to stay, who would you pick? This is your answer, right? Zhuangfu let out a cold snort and went back to his bedroom. Before I left, that Zhuang brat gave me a provocative smirk. "Hey bro, I hope you can throw all this garbage away real soon. And then come home. I heard you never went to school before. I'll beg Dad later. As long as you're willing to come back, I'll make him send you to school. Your little brother will always be here waiting for you." I left without looking back. I didn't pay any attention to what that brat said. I only hoped Zhuang Qingqing would listen to me and not go mountain climbing that day. Zhuang Qingya drove me to the hotel. She also handed me a bank card. I pushed it back and said no need. "You can give me the money later." Zhuang Qingya didn't get what I meant and still stuffed the card into my hand forcefully. I looked at her and said something random out of the blue. "You got hurt when you were 18, right?" Zhuang Qingya turned around sharply, about to ask how I knew that. But I already got into the elevator. The bell on my keychain jingled softly. I didn't have a great time at the hotel these days. Zhuang Qingya probably went right back home and told them where I was staying. So people kept knocking on my door in the middle of the night. I knew these people were hired by that Zhuang brat. He's still the official young master of the Zhuang family right now. To save the Zhuang family's face, the hotel front desk definitely wouldn't dare to stop them. So I haven't been sleeping well at all. Zhuang Qingqing also kept texting me these days. I didn't reply to any of her messages. But this morning I texted her on my own initiative. "Don't go mountain climbing." I turned on the TV, but it was already too late. The news was reporting a major traffic accident happened in our city today. An out-of-control truck crashed straight into an SUV. The accident killed 2 people and injured 4 others. I counted the number of people on my fingers, 1 at-fault driver, and 5 victims. Zhuang Qingqing still went after all. Mother Zhuang called me. "Fan, come to the hospital quick. Qingqing got hurt." When I got to the hospital, that Zhuang brat started yelling at me furiously. "This is all your fault. You told Qingqing all that weird, superstitious crap. That's why she got hurt. How dare you even show up here?" Mother Zhuang walked out of the ward. That brat hurriedly grabbed her hand. "Mom, is Qingqing okay?" Mother Zhuang shook her head and glanced at me with a complicated look on her face. Zhuang Qingya noticed the awkward atmosphere between us and asked quickly, "Mom, how is Qingqing really?" Mother Zhuang stepped aside to let us pass. "She's not seriously hurt. She just twisted her ankle." In the ward, Zhuang Qingqing had one leg propped up, grinning at us like a silly kid. That Zhuang brat blurted out without thinking, "How come you only hurt your leg? Weren't you supposed to die?" Zhuang Qingqing's smile faded right away. That's when the brat realized he said something wrong. "I didn't mean that. Get the hell out of here." "Dad, I heard everything from Qingqing. You woke her up early in the morning and made her go up the mountain to get you something. If it weren't for you, how would Qingqing have gotten hurt? How was I supposed to know there would be a car crash? I wanted Qingqing to go up the mountain, to pray for a peace bead for you. I heard there's a very famous master on that mountain. I specially wanted to give it to you for your birthday. Dad, Qingqing is fine anyway. Besides, the kid did it for your sake, too. Only then did Father Zhuang's face soften a little. Brat, that master already left. Don't you know that you... What the hell are you talking about? I thought you'd know that. The master announced he was leaving here just a week ago. It even trended on the hot search back then. Don't you check your phone? Zhuang Sunzi couldn't come up with any explanation. He looked aside at Zhuang Qingye. Zhuang Qingye didn't look too happy either, but she still said, maybe Sunzi just didn't see it. It's the thought that counts anyway. I thought the master hadn't left yet. Sorry, Brother Bifan. I shouldn't have let Qing go out. I should have listened to you if I'd known. There wouldn't have been this bloody misfortune today. Hearing the words bloody misfortune. Father Zhuang then remembered that a few days ago I had said those unlucky words. Who invited him here? I invited Brother Bifan here. When Father Zhuang saw it was Zhuang Qingqing who invited me, he couldn't really lash out. He only felt distressed. Qingqing, why did you invite Bifan over? Zhuang Qingqing took something out of her pocket. She opened her palm to show a few broken beads. Now everyone in the ward looked at me. The beads broke, which means they blocked a disaster for you. But I clearly texted you this morning to tell you, don't go climbing. If you hadn't gone, you wouldn't have hurt your leg at all. Text? What text? I didn't get any. Since Qingqing is fine, let's stop asking about it. Let her get some proper rest. You're her older brother. Weren't you always the one who cared about Qingqing the most? Zhuang Qingqing unlocked her phone. The screen was a little cracked, but it still worked fine for viewing. I picked it up and opened the chat between Zhuang Qingqing and me. The words don't go climbing were right there in my phone. How could this happen? Was it a signal problem so she didn't get it? No, I clearly remember my phone beeped once this morning. Then I asked Brother Sunzi to check it for me. Brother Sunzi, it wasn't me. I didn't delete it. I didn't read his text. It wasn't me. He confessed without being pressed. No one in the Zhuang family is stupid. Zhuang Suxi's reaction made it obvious he was the one who did it. Why did you do this? Qingqing is your own little sister. I didn't do it. Zhuang Sunzi held his head, then suddenly pointed at me. It's him. He's the one who hurt Qingqing. If he had said this before, they would have believed him. But this time, I was the one who saved Zhuang Qingqing. Zhuang Qingqing's eyes were full of disappointment. Zhuang Sunzi was the older brother she grew up with and protected her since childhood. A few days later, Zhuang Qingqing was discharged from the hospital. Over these days, Zhuang Sunzi tried hard to curry favor with Father Zhuang, Mother Zhuang, and his sister. I know they've had deep affection for Zhuang Sunzi all these years. Just this small injury on Qingqing's foot won't be enough for the Zhuang family to kick him out. But he has a debt to pay. If he doesn't want to leave the Zhuang family, then he can go stay in jail. Zhuang Qingqing walked in on crutches. Zhuang Sunzi tried to help her, but she slowly pulled her arm away, then sat down next to me. Zhuang Sunzi's eyes turned red. I'm sorry, Qingqing.
Can you forgive me?
Mother Zhuang has been feeling really conflicted lately. After all, Zhuang Sunzi is the son she raised for over 10 years. She doesn't want to see us young people falling out with each other. Qingqing, your brother is talking to you. Zhuang Qingqing hummed in response, rubbing the beads in her hand. I could tell it was the string I gave her, just missing a few beads, so she can't wear it anymore. Zhuang Sunzi thought she liked beads, so he said with a smile, you like this kind of stuff? I'll buy you a more expensive one in a few days, okay? No need. I pulled a new string of beads out of my pocket. This is for you. 10,000 yuan. Zhuang Qingqing's face lit up and was about to transfer the money, seeing how quickly Zhuang Qingqing's mood changed. Zhuang Sunzi clenched his fists. He frowned and said, Brother Bifan, we're all family. You're gonna charge Qingqing for a string of beads. These are for safety blessings. You want one too? Zhuang Sunzi's face changed and didn't say yes or no. Father Zhuang still doesn't like me. Doing this kind of stuff at home. He coughed. It was Zhuang Qingye who walked over and asked if I could give her a string too. I nodded and held out my hand. 100,000 yen. Why is mine 50,000 more expensive? Don't you remember? I saved you once when you were 18. Father Zhuang looked totally shocked. Mother Zhuang froze too. Zhuang Qingye's memory suddenly flashed back 7 years. She had just turned 18 that year. Full of arrogance and pride, she planned to go abroad to watch a football match. But everything went wrong that day. Especially when she got home, she felt something in her pocket, found an unfamiliar peach pit. Later, she saw the news of the plane crash. That peach pit. How on earth did you... I picked up the newspaper Father Zhuang put down. Have you found the person who fled with the money? If we don't start construction on that plot soon, the workers will start a riot. Father Zhuang's eyes widened in shock. It was the first time I'd ever seen such mixed emotions on his face. The person in charge fled with the funds. He just heard about it from his staff today. The workers have already started striking one after another. He hadn't told anyone about this yet. Mom? I added that it was the first time I'd called Mother Zhuang Mom. It took Mother Zhuang a while to react. She answered, and I gave a small smile. Linlin told me to call you that. I brought up this forbidden topic again. Zhuang Sunzi immediately tried to hit me, but Zhuang Qingqing stopped him. A terrifying, furious look was on his face. How dare you bring this up again? You're making Mom and Dad sad. Mom, Dad! Lu Fan is pulling his cheap tricks again. This time, everyone stopped him. Even Zhuang Qingya, who always took his side, couldn't keep her composure. What do you mean by that? What do you mean Linlin told you to call her that? I know that except for Zhuang Sunzi. Everyone in the family loved this little new member a lot. So Linlin's death was a huge blow to the whole family. Perfect, everyone's here now. I dropped that line and went back to my room. I unfolded the yellow cloth and spread it on the table. I took out the tools and the small bell inside. Mother Zhuang stared at the bell on the table, in total disbelief. Is this Linlin's longevity lock? Where did you get this? This isn't an ordinary longevity lock. It's carved with complicated patterns. You can tell how much all of them valued this little sister. I didn't answer and pointed to Zhuang Sunzi's room. There's a tree behind Zhuang Sunzi's room, right? Please get a shovel and dig under that tree. It's quite deep, but you'll find it soon. Mom, Dad, do you really believe him? His weird tricks already killed Linlin. Who knows who he'll kill this time? Zhuang Qingqing stood up. I trust Brother B Fan. If it weren't for him, I would have died a few days ago. Mother Zhuang was torn about what to do. Father Zhuang frowned and said nothing. I won't hurt any of you. They ended up digging under the tree. Zhuang Sunzi cried and begged them to stop digging. Then he turned to beg Father and Mother Zhuang. When that didn't work, he grabbed my collar tightly. You people killed my little sister years ago. Who do you want to kill this time? Dad or Mom? Or my sister? Actually, you want to kill me the most, right? Suns, calm down. Auntie let out a sharp cry. She pulled a red cloth out of the dirt and opened it carefully. It was the longevity lock, missing one bell. Mother Zhuang collapsed to her knees. How could this be here? I clearly put this on Linlin myself. We buried Linlin with it. I hoped it would keep her safe in the afterlife. Lu Fan, what is going on here? Why is Linlin's longevity lock under this tree? Zhuang Qingya and Zhuang Qingqing also leaned in to look. They all recognized it. This can't be faked. Only Zhuang Sunzi stayed where he was, muttering, That's impossible, impossible. What I'm about to tell you might completely blow your mind. Believe it or not, that's up to you to decide. Zhuang Sunzi and I weren't swapped by accident. You actually know Zhuang Sunzi's birth mother. Her last name is Zhang. Mother Zhuang remembered who she was almost immediately. She was a maid who worked for the Zhuang family many years ago, but she had sticky fingers. When she stole Mother Zhuang's necklace worth over 1 million yuan and got caught red-handed, she was kicked out of the Zhuang residence. She held a grudge against the Zhuang family because of this. So a few years later, she swapped the Zhuang family's baby son with her own. You raised her son for her. That's Zhuang Sunzi. And Zhuang Sunzi's fate clashed with Linlin's. Linlin had a high fever for days and begged you for help every single one of those days. Haven't you noticed that ever since you started raising Zhuang Zongzong, the Zhuang family's business has been going downhill nonstop? Besides, Zhuang Qingya and Zhuang Qingqing used to get hurt all the time when they were little, right? This son you raised is the real culprit behind all this mess. That bastard Zhuang screamed and tried to slap me across the face. You're lying! You're full of crap! Mrs. Zhuang moved faster than he did and slapped him right onto the floor. How could you hurt your own sister? She was so nice to you. I curse you. I curse you to die a horrible death. Shut up. Drag him out of here right now. Send him to the mental asylum. Zhuang Suning finally panicked. Mental asylums are way scarier than prisons. He knelt on the ground begging for mercy nonstop. Please don't send me away, I beg you. Aren't I your son? Linlin's gone, but you still have me. I'll always be your son, won't I? How dare you even say that? If it weren't for you, if it hadn't been for you, no one could have imagined that the son they raised with all their love and care killed their own daughter. In the end, Zhuang Suning was sent to the mental asylum. Yifan, can you let me see Linlin one more time? That's impossible. Mrs. Zhuang broke down crying. Mr. Zhuang walked over and handed me a bank card. He said in a hoarse voice. I heard you fortune tellers must take payment after a reading. There's 1 million yuan in this card. I pushed the card back to him. and shook the bell in my hand. Someone already paid for this. All of them suddenly lost their strength like their support pillar was gone. They started crying silently one after another. That night, our real family finally had our first meal together. Mr. Zhuang wanted to arrange for me to go to school. I shook my head and said no need. He didn't push it further. He just told me, starting from today, I'm the only son of the Zhuang family. I didn't say anything. In the end, I gave each of them a bracelet. It's not worth much, it's for keeping safe. I packed my luggage right when the sun came up, getting ready to leave early. The cook hurried to stop me. Sir, madam, the young master is leaving. Mr. Zhuang, Mrs. Zhuang, Zhuang Qingya, and Zhuang Qingqing all ran downstairs. I didn't turn around. I just said, I've asked you this question twice already. If you have to choose between me and Zhuang Suning to stay, who would you pick? You don't get to have it both ways. I'm leaving. I heard Mrs. Zhuang calling my name through sobs, and Zhuang Qingqing choking out the word brother. I still didn't turn back. Maybe it's just like Aunt Wang said. The Zhuang family is so powerful and wealthy. How come it took them so many years to find me? They saw me telling fortunes on the street. Did they think I was bad luck? I pushed all these thoughts to the back of my mind and stepped out of the Zhuang family's gate. I remembered my master said he'd teach me a new formation the other day, and I haven't learned it yet.